Hello, everybody. I am so thankful for Pastor Michael for taking my spot on Tuesday and putting out a video. And so I'm putting one out today on Thursday, and I hope it's an encouragement to you. Recently my mother gave my kids her old, like 10-year-old phones. I don't know why she kept them, but she had them in baggies with their chargers, and they can't make calls, but for the most part, they can take pictures, and then the kids can use them to pretend to call people. And they really enjoyed it. But one thing that I noticed, and it brought back to my mind how bad cell phone photos used to be. Like they were just horrible in comparison to what they are now, which is sad. Because when you take a picture, you want it to look like, what you're seeing, which is why it's such a selling point for things like iPhones, that they have great cameras. Now, let me just say right off the bat, I am not trying to promote iPhones. I don't have an iPhone because I'm not going to spend that much money on a phone. But I do see and I get the fact that the cameras are significantly better than most other phones. And really, we value cameras that can take pictures that are close to what we see with our eyes. I mean, this is important to us. We care about good pictures, whether it's of a sunset, if you're me, or a sunrise, if you're my wife. Whether it's of your family, of your fish, of the bear you saw walking through the neighborhood, or of that sandwich that for some reason we feel we need to share with the rest of the world. A good picture, a clear picture, a precise picture, it matters to us. We value beauty, and that's a good thing. But maybe we're missing out on the most beautiful thing. Maybe we're not seeing it as precisely, as clearly as we should. And thus, maybe we're not enjoying it. Now, I know that many people have a strange reaction to the word doctrine. For some people, doctrine is really only important for pastors or for those who are really intellectual. But the truth is that doctrine is not a dirty word. It is really important, not just for pastors, but for everyone who longs to see and enjoy beauty. Today, I'll be finishing this great book by Dane Ortlund. And in it, he says, the whole reason we care about doctrine, about sound doctrine, is for the sake of preserving God's beauty. Just as the whole reason we care about effective focus lenses on a camera is to capture with precision the beauty we photograph. You see, if we ignore doctrine, which is just what we believe, then we are trying to look at, enjoy, and share Jesus with a dirty old lens. Instead of picking up the iPhone, for example, and looking at, enjoying, and sharing Jesus with the clear detail of all his beauty. Doctrine is the place where the beauty of God is laid bare for us to see and enjoy. It is in his word that he teaches us about himself, where he shows us the height and depth and width and length of his great love, where he shows us the extent of our sin, and then the extent of his grace. There is nothing more glorious to behold than our God. But it seems like a lot of people who call themselves Christians are not really in love with Jesus. They'll talk about Jesus, but they're not growing in that love of him. We are commanded to love Jesus with all that we are, with all our heart, our soul, our mind, and our strength. Did you hear that we are to love him with our minds? That we can't be loving him really with our strength if we're not connecting it with our minds? That our minds and our strength and our soul are all connected. You see, we grow in our understanding of him so that we may love him more, enjoy him more, and are better able to share him with the lost. You see, it's when we grow in our understanding, grow in our mental capability of comprehending his beauty, that we are able then to enjoy him better and love him more and share him more clearly with the lost. Dr. Albert Mohler says that without doctrine, the result is rootless and fruitless Christians. Rootless and fruitless Christians. Consider that. Do you want to be rootless in the faith? Someone who can be blown about here and there by every conspiracy and every political turmoil and every disease that comes and goes and every storm that blows here and there. Do you want to be rootless in the faith? And do you want to be fruitless in the faith? Without any expression, any manifestation of God's working in your life. In 2 Peter chapter 1, Peter talks about this in great detail, and he beautifully lays it out for us. And I just want to read to you quickly from 2 Peter chapter 1. He says, His divine power has given us everything we need for a godly life through our knowledge of Him who called us by His own glory and goodness. Then he says, through these He has given us His very great and precious promises, so that through them you may participate in the divine nature, having escaped the corruption in the world caused by evil desires. For this very reason, make every effort to add to your faith goodness, and to goodness knowledge, and to knowledge self-control, and to self-control perseverance, and to perseverance godliness, and to godliness mutual affection, and to mutual affection love. Notice this idea of building, of growing, of adding to. And then he says, for if you possess these qualities in increasing measure, they will keep you from being ineffective and unproductive in your knowledge of the Lord Jesus Christ. Peter's making this same argument that without this growing understanding of Him and then love for Him, because we're able to see His beauty with an iPhone rather than with these old junky phones from 10 years ago, where the picture is grainy and it's hard to really make out. It's this growth in our spiritual lives, in our understanding of Christ and our love of Christ that helps us to be able to see Him more clearly, to gaze upon His beauty, and His beauty then, and understanding the love that He has for us and the essential state of His being as beauty. That helps us to be able to endure trials and grow through them, to be able to grow in our faith, to be able to walk more faithfully with our God, to be able to turn away from sin and see it for what it really is, to be able to just love Him more beautiful. Friend, are you more in love with Jesus today than you were back in March when this pandemic kind of kicked off here in Michigan? Have you been taking time to gaze upon His beauty? Or have you been content to see His beauty at a distance with a dirty, old lens? Or have you been pushing yourself to know, enjoy, and love Him with more clarity, with a clearer, more accurate picture of His beauty? Have you been reading His Word faithfully? Have you been taking time out to turn the TV off, to cut out the internet, and to read good books that help you to see the beauty of Jesus Christ? Have you been listening to sermons, watching videos? Have you been taking time to talk with other people who can help you grow in your understanding and enjoyment of Jesus? We do all of these things, and we should do all of these things faithfully and with all our effort so that we can, with every new day, grow in our knowledge of, our enjoyment of, and our satisfaction in the all-encompassing beauty of Jesus Christ. And it's when we start to do this well, when we gain greater knowledge and enjoyment and satisfaction in Him, that we become, by necessity, we become better equipped to share His beauty with the lost. Friends, I want to challenge you and I want to encourage you fix your eyes upon him, to dive into the Word, to dive into good books, to commit yourself to listening and being at church if you can, or watching online, to listening to sermons, and not just mine, other people's, to watching the videos that we've been putting out and trying to put out there to lay out for you the beauty of Jesus Christ and his word and what he's called us to and what he has given us by the Spirit, so that you may find greater joy in him, so that you may be rooted in him, so that you may overflow with fruit from him, and so that you may be a better proclaimer of his beauty to the lost. We're here not just so that you may grow, but so that you may also encourage others to grow, so that you may draw other people to the beauty of our God, because you've seen it, because you've tasted it. Oh, friends, Christ is so beautiful. Have you been taking the time to gaze upon that beauty, to grow by it, to love it more fully, and to share it more faithfully? For this is our call, and this is our pleasure in him. If we can help, reach out. But take the opportunities. Use the things that God has given you. His word, his pastors, his teachers, great books by classic Christian minds, and other believers that can encourage your heart. Don't be content to live with God at a distance. Instead, allow God to take your heart and to transform it so that you see with clarity the beauty of Christ, so that you fall more in love with him, so that you are more enraptured by him, so that you are more so that you enjoy more time being with him, and so that you proclaim with more affection and more desire and more clarity the beauty of Christ to the lost. Don't tire of doing good, for at the proper time we'll reap a harvest. You'll be rooted, and you'll be full of the fruit that comes from knowing and loving the beauty of our God. Hope to see you on Sunday.